Welcome to this first video of what intends to become a series on the building of a new model railway. Step 1 is the design. Well, hobby friend Nico has this room available. It measures 4 meters by 3.7 meters. The room will be empty soon, and then the question is how to fill it with a model railway. Of course, scale is one of the design choices to make. There is a lot of things possible, but what we have is quite some HO equipment already available, and also a Pico 7500 track. So our choice is easy. We are going to stick with what we have. Obviously, if you have a smaller room, then smaller scale like TT or N may be a wise choice. Otherwise, you cannot put a lot of track into the space you have. So we are going to work with this Pico 75 track. And it's not the first model railway that we are building, and we figured out in the past that a minimum radius of 1.2 meters looks good and drives nice. It can be tighter, but 1 meter or 80 centimeters, it is going to look more like a toy, and we still like it to have a little bit the look of a real railway. Another design choice that we made is that we want to be able to drive around. So we need an oval like this. Well, it doesn't need to be an oval, but a loop. But we also like to drive end to end. So we want to make a combination of both principles. Say something like this, but then bigger and folded along all the 4 walls that we have available. Another design principle that we would like to include is to have a viaduct. There is a big plus in having a viaduct like this over here, and this inner loop could be stretched a bit to the left a bit, and then what you see is that you get almost double the travel distance in the same amount of room. Armed with these 3 criteria, that we want to loop and want to drive point to point and want to have a viaduct, we started to look for some inspiration by looking through some magazines. And what we found out is that sometimes the emphasis of layout lies on the scenery. There's little track and a lot of very beautiful scenery and buildings. Well, Nico and I, we are not that much into scenery. We are much these kind of guys to have a lot of track with a lot of trains and not too much scenery that is complicated to us to build. The hobby is more about doing the woodwork and laying the track and automating it than making the grass and the trees and the buildings. So we went through all these magazines and we found a couple of layouts that meet all our criteria, and this is a very interesting example. There is a lot of track and not too much scenery. You can loop around, you can drive point to point, and another interesting thing is these islands in the middle of the room. We can make those. If we make a track only around the walls, we have a very large area with nothing to do there. So this is an inspiration that we took, and we started to make some hand drawings ourselves, and finally we made this layout. It's made in SCARM, which is a layout editor, and well, it meets all the criteria that we stated. We can drive looping around, we can drive point to point. We have a viaduct over here, which makes that yeah, the distances are much longer. To go from station Twinwoods to station Bedford is 8 meters of driving, and back from Bedford to Twinwoods again is 12 meters of driving. So that's nice, and then the trains are a little while on the way. Let's see what the planning is for how to drive with multiple trains. We have, let's say, intercities, 2 of them, and this is the clockwise route. Trains drive around in this fashion, and they stop at both stations. Then we also have similar 2 intercities that drive counterclockwise on the second track. It looks like the middle track in this 3-track layout. Then we have some passenger shuttle trains, and they are going to meet these end stations over here. Then they can use all the tracks, and they end up over here in Luton, which also is a dead end station. And they can also go to Bletchley at that dead end station. And of course, on the way, they can also stop at Twinwoods and Bedford. So that's already a lot of traffic. 2 trains on this track also, 6 trains in total. And then we have the cargo trains. And well, the intention for the cargo trains is to drive from these industry areas to the next industry area, and then back out again and to the 3rd industry area. And we wanted them to drive always forward on the main track, never backwards driving on the main track, which is why we have these dead ends over here, and also a dead end over here, and a dead end over here, where they can drive backwards and then always drive forward on the main track. 5 trains are going to drive this route. That's the plan. So all in all, there will be 11 or maybe 12 trains driving on this layout. This is how it is intended to look when it's built in 3D view in SCARM. This is a lot of track and maybe not too much scenery, exactly what we like. Have a lot of trains driving around. So yeah, this design is more or less finalized. Next step, we have to try see if it fits in the room. So let's do a 3D modeling, maybe in Fusion, so we can see how it is going to fit, if we have enough room to walk around, and how the woodwork is going to look. Maybe see you back there, and in the meantime, have fun.